but they still went in 3-2. How did you see the game first half, second half tonight?
I really thought we had a really good first half, maybe one of our better halves of the season. I thought we were super dynamic, getting behind, even their presses, we were breaking and getting on the other side. And, I think there was a couple more goals into it. One, I don't understand how the play is going forward. So that's like the epitome of an advantage. If the play is going forward, it's one thing, and you can hold the whistle quite for as long as you want and bring it back if the play stops going forward. So for me, this is an unforgivable moment, really, because this is like the definition of an advantage. There are other moments where our advantages aren't given, but this is in the attacking zone. This is going forward. See it out and see what happens. And if it breaks down on the next ball, then you can still bring it back if you want. So that counts for one goal in the early part of the game. I think we then go on to create three more. I think Joe had one that was just escaped him. I think it kind of went through the keeper's legs, and so or right by his foot, something, and it seemed like the timing of it just broke. We had some one or two maybe other decent looks, maybe not great, but decent looks. The first goal was exactly what we knew they were trying to do, get around the outside, run through the lines, play it in behind. We just did not manage it well. And that was what I thought was our one big mistake in the first half. I thought the penalty was also not a penalty. I felt like the guy just ran in, and because there was nothing there, he went to the ground and he got a call. I have to watch it back, but initially what I saw was not something. He couldn't get to the ball. There was nothing there. I just didn't see that a penalty. So you could potentially go in 3-1 or I don't know, maybe 4-1, 3-1, whatever. The first goal was very early. So emotionally, that's tough for the guys, to feel like you deserve more and to be ahead more and to have this team right on your back still at 3-2. I think, and we came out in the second half, and I think what we talked about was trying to replicate the first half, knowing they were going to have to adjust because they had nothing really in the first half other than a couple that play that they wrapped it around behind us. And they switched how they were getting their forward. They were getting their right back higher in the second half. The first half it was the left back higher. Then they were kind of getting them both high. We were getting pinned back a little bit. We weren't able to get pressure on the ball in the same way. You're also managing a little bit of one goal lead. I thought the other part of it in the second half was we were really rushing our attacks, and that meant we were turning the ball over faster instead of kind of establishing ourselves. We had established in the first half that we could play. In the second half, I thought we were really in a rush to try to go get the next goal sometimes, and then we conceded the ball back, and then we ended up separated again and then back into a lower block. So, but the guys managed the game well. Again, it's one of those that the emotions are kind of up and down a little bit through it, and you gotta get through it. So, but really pleased with the first half. In the second half, I was pleased with just the grind and the effort and getting it done and getting it across the line. And you see around the league, like the teams at the top right now there's no guarantees right now anywhere, and so I think everybody's got a little bit of that summer tired fatigue. We're looking in front of us to a tournament that's right in front of us, and I think just to maintain concentration and see this game out was really, really important and really big.
And then you look at the West, you guys are at top of the West. What does that mean to this group with 9 games to go? You guys are the team that teams are chasing now.
Yeah, I think that, and that we keep competing and we're bouncing back. We've lost 4 games this year, but every time we lose, we bounce right back and we break. We don't allow ourselves to get into a string. We jump right back in. We get the result. I think that's important. It shows resiliency. I thought tonight we did a lot of the things that we didn't do in Dallas. We did them tonight, which was a good response to that. So I'm happy. I think the guys they're fighting for everything, and we keep going. We have one more this week that's really important. As we said, if we can get the job done on Saturday, then we go into this break on top of the West, and that's the goal for this week. Then when we come back, it's 8 games to really find your rhythm form, everything you need to see yourself into the best playoff position possible, and set yourself up form-wise to give yourself a shot and ultimately the tournament at the end, right? So, but the group's been locked in, and I'm, like I said, when we've had a tough game, we've bounced right back and we've answered the bell. So I'm happy with this group's we're also learning some things, by the way, about ourselves, and we've seen some of the things that have not looked good, for example, in Dallas, are a replication of some other things that we've seen in the league or in the games that we haven't. And I think it's led to us, and we had a little discussion this week on how maybe we want to adjust some things as we continue to learn about ourselves and some of these different circumstances or situations or conditions that we're playing in. I'm not going to get into detail, but that's part of what a season's about, is learning about yourself for when you get to that final stage. You've got some answers to some things that maybe you weren't sure about totally before. So, no, I'm not going to tell you, because I'm telling everybody. Not that I have big secrets. I just think it's understanding our team, and maybe some of the things that might be good for our team as we move into the latter stage of the season.
Greg, a little formation change, or at least personnel change, moving Joseph up into the 9 and maybe more of a real 9 than a false 9 there. Yeah. And then Diego out. What did you see from that? Did you like that better than against Dallas with Diego sort of in the false?
I did. I did. And we knew it's a different circumstance, because you play Dallas and they end up a little bit lower, whereas Colorado is going to come at you and they're going to try to step, which gives Joe the space to run, and he's not dealing with just density and big center backs. He's got space to open the legs and to run. And so I felt like this is a game that really made sense for him, and that if they wanted to step this way, he's going that way, and Gabe's going that way, and and Ricky's going to find those guys. So I felt like this was a good chance to get him in the 9, and that he would have his moments, and he certainly did. I think Diego's always given us a very solid performance, in whether he's played in the pivot position or today out wide. He just understands the functions and the things that we're looking for in the position, and he had another solid night. Gabe again, another solid night. Ricky, I thought, was really active, and he's always important against teams that try to press us, because he can wiggle out of things and get things moving quickly. And then when you're on the other side of that pressure, then you have lots of things opening up. I thought Mauricio had a great game. I think, especially in the first half, his just the relationship and the combination of kind of Mauricio, Gabe, Joe being a little closer to them, and Ricky being there. I felt like the movements were really smart and really good, and we really opened them up a few times. So I thought another good game for him, and it was good for him to get, in my opinion, in his position, to get 80 minutes, 75, 80 minutes of defending as well, which is something that we want to. That's probably the area of growth I want him to keep working through as much as possible. And we gave Mickey a shot on the left, because we knew, with John, it's going to be difficult to go 3 games this week. We knew we were going to have to adapt a little bit. Mickey gave us a great shift over on the left. So yeah, I was just pleased with everybody's effort and what they did today.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking specifically about Mauricio and what he does, just his development in what seems like a short amount of time. Maybe it's not surprising to you, but watching, he seems to have really taken a step forward. Looks like he belongs out there. What have you seen from him?
He's a wonderful attacking player specifically. I think that's really his strength, and his capacity to get up and down the line. The quality of his service is really good. He hits a very crisp ball across the back line, and it's hard for defenders to deal with. I think he's still young, so he doesn't necessarily always have the thing that sometimes as you get older holds you back a little bit from making runs. Like, he's going, and I think that when he's going, and today Mickey was helping to cover him a little bit, that creates a lot of problems for the opposition as well. And his capacity to play off the line and to just move with the ball, I think, are all great qualities that I think he just continues to get more confident and more certain, and tactically he's getting better. So like I said, for him is really defensive repetition at this level, and seeing different types of wingers, seeing an overload like he had in the first half, where he's got Vines coming around him, and he's got Lewis coming inside of him, and having to manage that situation, how to communicate with Gabe through that sometimes. Those kinds of things are going to help him as he gets more and more repetition in that. But he's got a lot of upside, and he really suits a lot of the things that we're trying to do, and I think he just keeps growing. He's got a great mentality. Every day in training, he just works and works and works, and so that's why he's improving. It's really him,
Hey, Greg. This is maybe more on a different note, but today we got to see the team wear their Retrograde kits, the new one.
They looked really good, huh?
Yeah.
That took a little throwback for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I mean, in the first club's ever game, you wore a jersey that was, inspired by the design. Does it evoke any feelings in you now, seeing that you're coaching players wearing that kit?
Yeah, I don't know if it invokes feelings. I like it. I mean, back then when I saw it, I was like, this is a strange jersey, because it was just so different than what anywhere you'd seen in the world. But because of the history of it and it being worn in those early '96 years, just to see it again out there in a little bit more upgraded version. The ones back then, I don't know if you guys know how heavy and those things were. The Budweiser patch that was like 3 pounds on the back. These are a little bit more. A little more performance friendly, but they look good. I liked them out there. I know they probably won't be out all that often, but it was nice to kind of see the old days kind of out there again. And I thought we played well in them, especially in the first half. So that was good. We did them justice.
Hey, Greg, congratulations on the win. It's been widely reported that the Galaxy and Marco Royce are courting each other. I know you can't comment on negotiations, but how does a player like Marco Royce, his profile, help this team out?
Well, anyone that we hopefully add in the summer window is just somebody that can continue to make the team better. A player of his profile gives you experience, it gives you quality, it gives you versatility also. A winning mentality, a championship mentality. Those types of things are always good for teams. But we're trying to continue to make the team with anything that we do, and this to make the team better, to raise the level, to get deeper, to get all those things that you kind of need as you go down the tail end and you try to make a run at an MLS Cup. You try to use the summer window the best way possible to keep improving the team. I mean, you actually can get more done in the summer window than the winter window. It's just always a question in the summer of what your resources are like once you get there, and so that's always a little bit of the summer challenge. And the team's doing well, and so usually doing well because you used some of your resources already, right? So we'll see what gets done, but I know the goal with the guys upstairs is just to try to get more assets to the team to help this team continue to improve and make a push.
We have
Good.
one last one on Zoom.
Okay.
Sophie, go ahead.
We are not hearing her.
One last one for Damien then.
No, it's just a timeline for Dayon. I know he's out this week, but when he's back on the field, training,
Probably back on the training field as we get a little closer to the start of the Leagues Cup. Yeah. So I don't know that we'll see if he's actually ready for those games, but he'll be back on the training field and working return to play stuff, and we'll see. We're not going to rush him, but we'll take the right steps. But that's probably when we'll see him on the training field again. Yeah, I mean, he's healing. It was it's not a significant strain. It's one of those that, again, it's long enough to put you out of this little stretch of things, and also to make sure that you take the right steps to get back. But it's nothing significant. I think he's moving in the right direction for sure. So.